Murder, kidnapping, heists. The investigation genre has been incredible in cinema, giving us some of the greatest movies ever made. But what are the best investigation movies of all time? Find out in this episode.
What's up, movie friends? Welcome back to Raiders of the Lost podcast, the ultimate film and TV podcast. And we're going to do a very special episode on investigation movies because we just saw Seven in IMAX. And we were like, this is one of the best movies ever. And we were like, you know what? A lot of the best movies ever made are investigation films, if you think about it. So we put together this epic list, which includes a lot of Hitchcock, a lot of Fincher, some absolute classics, High and Low, Silence of the Lambs, Insomnia, Fargo, LA Confidential, Spotlight, Shutter Island, Sherlock Holmes.
A lot of Boston movies on here.
A lot of wicked, awesome Boston movies on this episode. So it's an incredible list, and it's a really deep list. This is one of the deepest lists.
It's so deep.
Yeah, I mean, we have 64 movies on this list because we were like, can we cut any of these down to make it 50? We're like, we really can't get rid of any of these movies. They're all too good.
They really are.
Even number 64.
But I love mystery movies and investigation films. We get some of the best characters. Of course, we get stereotypes with investigators and detectives and PIs, private investigators. All the cliches are all over these movies, but a lot of them do it in unique ways. When we have a detective like Loki in Prisoners versus a private investigator of J.J. Gitz in Chinatown, you know, they're kind of after the same sort of thing. They're investigating conspiracies and obviously corruption and crime, but they do it in such different ways, different aesthetics, different time periods. So many of these are so artistic. So many just kick so much ass. Some are based off books. Some are original screenplays. Some are all-time movies, top 20 all-time, which is really fantastic. And I cannot wait to get into this list.
Yeah, and the history of film is really indebted to the investigation genre, the film noir genre. You know, a lot of the early greats in the 40s and 50s were film noirs set in this genre and paved the way forward for the world of movies that we know today. And so many of your favorite movies are inspired by these old films. Your favorite filmmakers' favorite movies are many of these classic films. And there's so many great modern investigation films. And we might even have like a little Denis Villeneuve movie on this list. Well, we have to wait and find out.
We already talked about it.
You have to wait. Maybe they weren't listening. I wasn't listening to you.
I mean, he could technically have two movies on here.
He could have a couple movies on here.
If you think about it.
There's some Spielberg. There's some William Friedkin. Some amazing directors. And I can't wait to break this down. Let's get into the first film on our list, which happens to be
Insomnia. Not the second feature film. After Memento, Christopher Nolan made Insomnia. It's the only screenplay he's actually not written himself. It's based off a book that another screenwriter wrote, I believe.
It's based on a Swedish film.
Swedish film? Oh, yes. It's a remake.
It's a remake. Stellan Skarsgård starred in it.
That's right. And it's an incredible film starring Al Pacino, who goes to Alaska to investigate a murder. However, he's dealing with the local culture, how different it is, as well as the sun's not setting. And Robin Williams plays an incredible counter to him in this movie as the person he's after. Plus, Hilary Swank puts on a terrific performance.
Yeah, it's a great film, and you can see the early aspects to Nolan's filmmaking. He makes these incredible moments feel larger than life, whether it be that great chase on the water logs over the water and getting trapped underneath those. That's an amazing scene that's just like an all-time chase. And then he's got those huge helicopter landscape shots that we see in all of his films now.
It's just like Batman Begins.
Only now he's using IMAX cameras, baby.
I think, did he shoot the same sort of glaciers in Insomnia?
Yes, exact
as in
same
Batman
ones.
Begins?
Exact same ones.
It's like the identical shot.
No, I'm sorry. It's the same ones from Batman Begins are Interstellar.
Yes,
that's what it is.
It looks pretty similar too.
Yeah, it looks great.
Because this movie opens with those long helicopter shots over the icebergs.
It's a great film. It's a really excellent big feature that he got after Memento. This is Warner Brothers. They tapped him to make this modest budget and made over $100 million. So it was a huge success, and critics and fans loved it, and it got him into the room to pitch Batman. We got Batman Begins, but it's all because Insomnia was successful. Let's move it into number 63 with one of the more contemporary films on this list, and we have Wind River, which is an excellent film. It was the directorial debut for Taylor Sheridan, who wrote Hell or High Water, and then he was able to make this, and now he's one of the biggest filmmakers in TV and movies to this day. And it's an incredible film about an investigation. Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen are two people who an unlikely duo who end up investigating a murder that occurred on a Native American reservation. This is incredible. It's really came out of nowhere. Didn't really get that much traction when it was released, but it has become a really beloved film. It's gotten a really good following online in recent years. I know a lot of people who say it's just like one of their favorite movies, and it's so well received. Great performances from both Renner and Olsen, as well as the rest of the cast. John Bernthal's in this. There's a fucking crazy shootout in this movie that is just like mind-blowing, and it's just like it's jaw-dropping how intense it is, and it's absolutely one of the best shootouts of recent memory. Highly recommend Wind River. Came out in 2017. If you have not watched it, add it to your watch list right now.
Next up, we have a Spike Lee joint, 2006's Inside Man, one of the better heist movies of the century. Such a clever and intriguing movie. Clive Owen plays a bank robber who's in the middle of a heist, and Denzel Washington plays the head detective leading up the investigation. And Jodie Foster also plays a sort of consultant of sorts to Christopher Plummer's character who owns the bank. And this is a heist movie, but it's also an investigation film because we have investigations of two kinds of crimes happening at the same time. One doesn't get revealed until really the third act of the movie, in addition to the heist that's being, sort of investigated, trying to figure out who these guys were, as well as the flashbacks with the detectives, with the witnesses after they all escape the prison. We have Chiwetel and Denzel. The interrogation rooms are some of my favorite sequences because it's a great mystery where these people went in to rob a bank, and then everyone comes out of the bank dressed in the same exact wardrobe after about a day of cops and standoffs going in and out of the building. It's a really clever crime. I won't spoil how it's done, but man, I love Clive Owen in this movie, and Denzel steals every scene he's in. Willem Dafoe's got a small role in this movie, which is a lot of fun too, but a really, really stellar cast, as well as a really huge in scope and surprising third act.
And Spike brought that seedy 70s noir, 60s noir into New York. And it has that great, it's like that cool tone. And Denzel plays like a detective who should be in a 60s movie, not in the 2000s. And I love the wardrobe, and his mustache is great. He just feels like he's a fish out of water in a way. And the whole movie is just like a really great throwback. And it has a great bookend in his apartment. I love it. Let's move into The Wicker Man, which is also one of the best horror films of all time. The Wicker Man is an investigation from start to finish. This cop travels to this really strange island to figure out what's happened to a missing woman who's been reported by the police. Once he gets there, everyone's like, "Oh no, no one's missing. We didn't report anything." And then he starts investigating over the next 90 minutes strange occurrences, even odder behavior, and some really crazy mysteries that he can't quite figure out. And this is all-time horror. This is like one of the best original horror films. There's an okay remake of Nick Cage, but this is the one to watch. It's absolutely one of the best investigation films of all time, while also happens to be a great horror.
Next up, we have a terrific legal drama starring a very young Edward Norton, his first big film role, as well as a veteran, Richard Gere, where Edward Norton plays he plays an altar boy, right?
Yeah.
Is he an altar boy who is involved with, or a key witness to the murder of someone else with a priest. And the priest is
the priest is
murdered?
Yes.
Yeah, the priest is murdered. That's right. I haven't seen it in a little bit. The priest is murdered, and he's the number one suspect. He's in custody, and Richard Gere plays a hotshot lawyer, a hotshot defense attorney who's trying to get him out because clearly to him, he seems like an innocent kid. He seems like he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. It seems like there's no way he could have done this. However, this movie has not just searing writing and wonderful performances, but an awesome twist, an all-time twist. And Edward Norton really shines. Is this his first movie, I think?
First feature film role.
First feature film role.
He got the role that everyone in Hollywood went up for.
Absolutely killed it in this role. Phenomenal performance. Can't recommend this movie enough.
It's great. Next up, we got Winter's Bone. Another great debut performance. Well, not debut, but breakout performance from Jennifer Lawrence. This is her first lead role in a major film, and she plays a young woman who takes care of her younger siblings, who has to find her father, who has not shown up for a few days. He's the only person that can stop the house from being taken away from them. And so she goes on this really incredible journey trying to locate him, And this is a really great film that showcases like really like the backwoods kind of community of this area, a part of America that people don't really know. These people who live in tiny bubbles and they live very isolated, and most of them are poverty stricken. And it's a really cool culture that they created in this film. It feels like nothing you've ever seen before. I remember we saw this with Mom in theaters, and we were all just like absolutely blown away. And it's an incredible film. Jennifer Lawrence really commands the screen. Oscar nomination, and she became one of the biggest actors alive after this. She shortly got the Hunger Games, and this is really the movie that got her the Hunger Games audition and put
First female action star
First
ever.
female. I love J-Law. I literally watched T2 the other night. I was like, I thought of Jennifer Lawrence.
I know, me too.
Linda Hamilton's doing fucking pull-ups, so I'm just like, interesting, Jennifer Lawrence. Be that as it may, she said something silly. She's great in Winter's Bone. It's a fantastic film. Also, I love, what's his fucking name in this movie? The skinny guy with the long hair.
Bro, I haven't seen this movie since we saw it in theaters.
What's
It's been at least a decade. John Hawkes?
John Hawkes.
Yeah.
I love John.
Yeah, I forgot he's
I
in
love
the
John
movie,
Hawkes. He's great.
Skinny guy with long hair. That kind of narrowed it down for me.
Yeah. Winter's Bone.
Moving on next to the awesome Wicked Pissa directorial debut from the one and only Ben Affleck. Gone, Baby Gone, starring his baby brother, Casey Affleck, and Michelle Monaghan, who play private investigators in Boston, investigating the disappearance of a young girl from a small, poor community in the city. This movie is really well made. It's an excellent debut. People really should go back when they talk about the best debuts of all time. And it's not that, but it's really solid. And Ben really proved himself as an artist after all of the shit he took for 10 years about just being Matt Damon's best friend. And obviously
And the pretty boy.
Yeah. Movie star. The guy's got so much talent. He's got such a great vision. And to start off with such a banger, Gone Baby Gone, it really captures the culture of Boston so well. Casey is a standout. He really started getting big roles, I think, after this movie for sure, which led to his Oscar-winning performance in Manchester by the Sea eventually. But man, Gone Baby Gone, so well made. Another brilliant twist. That's a common theme with a lot of these investigation films, is a big twist in the third act. And this one has one of the biggest, makes you cry. It's so tragic. You're on both sides of the coin of the argument. You can't decide what you want to go with. But it's such a good ending.
It's fucking wicked awesome guy.
Wicked Pissa kid.
Fucking sick. Fucking sick movie guy.
It's fucking sick.
We use sick a lot for an adjective or something that's really good.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Catherine Bigelow's incredible film Zero Dark 30, coming off of her Oscar win from Hurt Locker. The Hurt Locker, she came in with another fucking banger. Zero Dark 30 is a fantastic film starring Jessica Chastain. This really was a big film for her and her career. Jason Clarke, Joel Edgerton, Kyle Chandler. Chris Pratt plays a Navy SEAL in this film. He looks awesome. He sounds great. And this was really, he lost weight for Parks and Rec to do this. And then I think he went back to Parks and Rec, and then he got Guardians. But he's very believable.
He
in
went
this
back
film.
to the pizza.
He went pizza and donuts. And this follows, the worldwide manhunt for Osama bin Laden after the September 11th attacks. Everybody wanted him, and the U.S. was just like, they had so many resources, but ultimately this story shows that as all those resources came together, it really came down to one female operative played by Jessica Chastain, who proved very instrumental in finally locating bin Laden. And it's just an incredible film. The first 2 hours is just like a searing drama, great performances, an excellent mystery, and then the final 20 minutes is the unbelievable raid, the night vision, the tactical operation. It's just a really fantastic piece of filmmaking. I love this film, and it was lauded. So many nominations at the Academy Awards and Golden Globes. Huge box office hit with $132 million. Catherine Bigelow, really one of the best of the century.
Next, we have Lethal Weapon, which really became the blueprint for so many action movies, buddy cop movies. Lethal Weapon, starring Mel Gibson, Danny Glover. First time paired together cops, totally different ends of the spectrum. But their chemistry, despite hating each other at first, really works out. And you could put all Lethal Weapons movies on this list. Lethal Weapon 4 specifically is really excellent. But I think Lethal Weapon, the original, the first one, is the best.
You can't put them all on.
You can't put them all on, but they all are investigation movies. It's just like an old friend saying hi to them, watching them, putting it on. It's on cable. You're going to put it on. We watched this on TV a lot as kids. It was on.
We watched it all the time when we were younger.
This is one of those watched all the time when we were kids movies.
All right, next up at number 55, we have something a little different, but it still counts, and that's Capote. Now, Capote is based upon Truman Capote's writing of In Cold Blood, the first true crime novel to really take mainstream attention and was the biggest success in writing that year and for many years after. And this follows not the investigation of just the crime, because when this movie starts, the criminals are locked up. They're guilty. They admitted their guilt. They killed a family in cold blood. But this is an investigation into the psyche of one of the killers. And Truman Capote becomes, in a way, obsessed and enamored by this man and spends years researching, interviewing him, looking into all the details. He scours all the evidence. And so in a lot of ways, it is an investigation, but not an investigation to who committed the crime, but an investigation into the human being and what would cause a person to do this, why they did this. And it's an incredible piece of filmmaking from Bennett Miller, Oscar-winning performance from Philip Seymour Hoffman, and one of the greatest of the century. If you've not seen Capote and you're interested in acting, watch that ASAP. It's incredible. Great cast. Clifton Collins Jr. and is amazing. Catherine Keener's amazing. It's just a wonderful movie overall.
Next up, we have an Alfred Hitchcock film, one of his more underrated and under-talked about, Rope, about two men who commit a murder with a rope, obviously. I mean,
I didn't see that coming.
You didn't see that coming.
Whoa, that's the twist.
Look at the look at Anthony's face.
Spoilers. Spoilers.
It's not a spoiler. It's literally the poster.
I'm kidding. Jim Stewart's holding a fucking rope.
And they commit a murder, and then they throw a dinner party with the body still there, inviting one of the people who inspired the murder, a professor played by Jimmy Stewart. Really great screenplay, as well as fantastic acting as usual in Alfred Hitchcock movies. Great mystery where, the suspense building, like he says, you let the audience know there's a bomb underneath the table and they're waiting for it to blow up at some point versus just blowing up a bomb. Building suspense the entire film until we lead to a terrific third act.
So Rope is actually based on a true story.
No way.
So did you ever hear the story of like the two well-off young brothers, and they're from a super affluent family, and they believed that they were higher than on like a social level and just a everything level to other people, and because of that, they thought they're so highborn and high social class that they can get away with anything. They're smarter than everyone, and they can do anything they want. And so they dared themselves to kill someone because they could easily get away with it because it's us. They're like it's us. Like we can do anything. We're just godlike people on this planet, and so they committed the crime, and they told a friend to learn about it. And then their friend told the police, and there's evidence everywhere. They left like the knife on like a riverbank, and they just did a terrible job killing this person, and they were pretty much arrested, I think, within a day. And it's just like this movie was based on the famous story of that.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Who'd they kill?
They killed a friend.
They killed like in the movie.
A neighborhood friend.
Gotcha.
So and they were younger. It was like they asked their friend to come in a car for a ride, and they killed him in the car.
Jesus
a
Christ.
Kid, like a 14-year-old.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So this movie was inspired by that. Another movie inspired by true events, and we have at number 52, 53. It's funny how that happened.
Inspired by events in a movie that's later on this list.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, Dirty Harry, starring Clint Eastwood, was actually inspired by the Zodiac killer in San Francisco. Dirty Harry hunts down a vicious sniper in the San Francisco area who's been tormenting the public and the police. This movie loosely follows the events that happened in real life. However, there's a lot more action, and Dirty Harry gets him in the end.
And even it plays in Zodiac for a few
seconds.
seconds.
Yes, it does, yeah.
In the movie theater. That's so funny. I didn't even realize that when we made this list. Next up, we have The Post. Steven Spielberg.
The Post!
The Post! Just sit down to The Post. It's a basketball.
In the paint.
The Post, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Meryl Streep and Thomas Hanks.
Thomas Hanks.
Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, it's Tom. I think you got it right.
Thomas Hanks.
Thomas Hanks.
Yeah, Thomas Hanks. Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks. Meryl Streep plays the first ever female editor of a newspaper, this being the Washington Post, and her partner at the company, I can't remember what he does at the company, at the Washington Post, Hanks' character, but they have to work together to compete with the New York Times to unveil and release a 3-decade-long conspiracy and crime cover-up by the White House that spans multiple presidencies, and they're risking everything in their careers and lives to get the story out there.
It's a great film. It's really one of Spielberg's that absolutely flies under the radar.
I think no one talks about The Post. This is the Spielberg movie.
You know who talks about it?
We do.
We do. Post is
I've
fucking
never
great.
seen anyone talk about The Post.
You could do the camera work in The Post. Oh my, the long
it's a
takes,
Spielberg
the
movie,
wonders.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Spielberg 101.
If you want to learn how to direct, just watch The Post, honestly.
Great drama, too.
Next up, at number 51, Harrison Ford in the house, baby. We got Harrison Ford versus Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive.
A man with one arm.
Oh man, that man. You find that man.
With one arm.
I didn't kill my wife.
I don't care.
I don't care. The Fugitive. Harrison Ford's character, he is a successful doctor whose wife was killed by a man with a hook for an arm. Really happens.
Based on true events.
Also inspired by true events. And then he goes on he escapes custody and goes on the run while trying to find the real culprit. Tommy Lee Jones and his squad start tracking down Harrison Ford. But you know what? He's hard to track down.
U.S. Marshals, man.
He's Harrison Ford. It's a great film. Incredible sequences. The train stunt, absolutely phenomenal. The stunt train.
Sick.
It's just incredible how they did that. It looks so good. Even with 30, 35 years later, it still looks absolutely phenomenal. The Fugitive.
We revisited this, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, we
just
watched it for
funds?
Patreon.
Oh, Patreon.
Yeah.
So that's right.
Yeah,
Damn,
it was
man,
a
this movie's
request.
great.
Yeah. Awesome.
You're on the edge of your seat for an hour, man.
Woo!
John Kimball, man.
Downey's in this. No, it's the sequel.
He's in the sequel.
Yeah. Joe Pantoliano's in this one.
Yeah. This movie has a great cast.
Yeah.
Great ensemble of investigators. It's really cool.
I don't care.
Tommy Lee's line delivery in this movie, like the most confident performance I've ever seen in my life. Next up, we have Sherlock Holmes, starring Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law, directed by Guy Ritchie. Just an excellent interpretation of the most adapted character for film and TV in the history of nonfiction with Sherlock Holmes. Guy Ritchie brought his energy, his editing, and his great gangster mentality for storytelling to this film. It's so stylized. It's a lot of fun. It's engaging, and I think people really just love this. Hans Zimmer's score for this movie lived rent-free in my head for years.
Yeah.
It really did. And it was just a good time. It was a lot of fun. I think it was just an excellent adaptation for the character, and it really revolutionized the character in a lot of ways. And it was unique to have an American playing Sherlock Holmes in a performance in something so big before,
And he did so good.
He really kills the British accent in this. He's an incredible actor. It's not the first time he's done a British accent. I mean, he played Chaplin.
Yeah, you got the Sherlock hair a little bit going on.
Sherlock
right
hair.
now.
Oh, yeah. It's elementary, Watson.
Yeah.
But I fucking love the Sherlock movies from Guy Ritchie. And the first one's really stellar. I think I like the second one better. It's bigger and bolder, like most sequels are. But both Sherlock movies are fantastic.
Yeah, I really love them. It's honestly a shame they never made a third. If there's something
It's still in development.
it's been in development for 10 years.
I think it might happen in the next couple of years, honestly, because Downey's getting pretty old.
Yeah, but he's got Marvel locked up now.
He's got Marvel, and he's in.
There's no way he's doing Sherlock.
He's a Marvel and Nolan guy now.
Yeah, there's no way he's doing
because if he's in the Odyssey, and then Nolan apparently wants him for his next movie after that.
And then on top of that, Ritchie's not making the third one, so
yeah, I'm sure he'll be involved with the script.
But I honestly, huge Sherlock Holmes fan. He's my favorite Sherlock performer.
Same.
I mean, from the books, whenever I read the books, he was like perfect for it.
Yeah, I'm very bummed we haven't gotten a third one.
Yeah,
because we watched those movies a lot.
Yeah, of all franchises, that's a film franchise that I wish made a third film.
Yeah,
it could have been a really great trilogy. Alas, it's what do you call it? A duology? A duo?
A pair?
But like a duology.
A duology?
Yeah,
that
like
sounds
a trilogy.
like the study of two.
Trilogy, duology.
I'm fucking with you.
Single movie.
The Doppio.
The Dopiology. All right, let's get into Brian De Palma. My guy. My main man.
I forgot he made this.
The Untouchables! With Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, an incredible cast of actors, as well as Bobby De Niro as Al Capone himself. This is an incredible movie. It's so much fun and details the exploits of a ragtag group of cops who band together to take out Al Capone. And it's an incredible movie. Cops versus the mob. Good guys versus bad guys. Huge filmmaking. Great score. The directing is just pitch perfect from De Palma. Kevin Costner is a wonderful lead. Sean Connery's so good in this as a supporting.
James Bond's in this, don't forget.
Yeah. Oh, I said Sean Connery.
Did you?
Yes. I said it at first.
I must not have heard.
Definitely didn't. No, you weren't listening.
No, I was listening.
If you were, you would have heard me say Sean
apologize.
Connery.
I missed that.
And also Andy Garcia's in this.
That's right.
Early role for him. He plays another Italian.
I know, he plays
the Cuban Italian. Built a career off playing Italians. I love it. He looks Italian.
He does look. He looks Italian as fuck.
I don't care. He looks Italian.
I mean, Cubans do look Italian.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
kind of do.
Yeah. I thought he was Italian all my life.
I thought me too. Godfather 3, I thought he was Italian as fuck.
And Untouchables is great. It's the best, man.
Another great movie. Another Boston movie here. Mystic River. Is that my daughter, Sean? Is my daughter there, Sean? Clint Eastwood brought one of the most tragic movies of the first 10 years of the 2000s with Mystic River, in addition to $1 Million Baby as well. But Mystic River is a gut punch, as well as a great mystery and investigation film. Kevin Bacon plays a detective who's running up the investigation of his old childhood friend's Sean's daughter's murder that also could involve their other childhood friend played by Tim Robbins. These three old friends, something tragic and traumatic happened to one of them, and since then they grew apart and lived long lives apart from each other. But this murder of Sean's character's daughter, played by Emmy Rossum, brings them all together in different ways that some of them wish never happened. And my God, this movie grips you from beginning to end with not just great filmmaking and great writing and acting, but just a terrific drama and wonderful last 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Next up at number 47, we have a George Clooney film. He directed Good Night and Good Luck, his second directorial effort after Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, and he improved greatly with Good Night and Good Luck, which is a really cool black and white film based upon the real events during the McCarthyism era, when McCarthy was going after anyone he could find who had any kind of communist ties. It was up to the CBS crew and their leader. I'm sorry, I want to get his name right.
McCarthy?
Edward M. Murrow.
Oh, Murrow.
So he was basically the head of CBS and the news anchor and the lead journalist. He went after McCarthy to point out all the horrible atrocities that McCarthyism was taking a hold of, and the way they treated people, how they interrogated, how they just took away everyone's rights that they investigated. And so this is an incredible film about the news doing something right and doing something for the public in a positive light. Really cool film, black and white. Clooney did a really great job with the filmmaking here, and David Strathairn plays the lead, and he's fantastic. We also get a early role during the re-emergence of Robert Downey Jr. in major films, as well as Clooney playing a role himself. Good Night and Good Luck is a fantastic film. Nobody ever really talks about. If you want to talk about films no one talks about, Good Night and Good Luck is something that's, I think, been forgotten, but I thought it was a very good movie.
What's your favorite Clooney directorial movie?
It might be Good Night and Good Luck.
I think Ides of March is my favorite. I really like that
Ides of
movie.
March is great. Didn't he just direct something? Oh, Boys in the Boat I loved.
Yeah.
Boys
I still haven't seen that.
Dude, oh my God. You gotta watch it.
All right, I'll get it at Vidiots.
Watch it ASAP. Honestly, man, it's so good. Actually, Boys in the Boat might be my favorite Clooney film.
Yeah?
Yeah, I loved it. It's so good.
Directed film.
Directed film, yeah, direct. I mean, it ain't no Ocean's 11. Boys in the Boat, great movie.
I'm going to add a movie to this list that we didn't have, but I think deserves to be here for investigation
We didn't talk about this. I'm just kidding. Go for it. I don't give a fuck.
Fracture.
Oh, yeah.
Fracture is a great drama, legal mystery drama investigation film starring Ryan Gosling and Anthony Hopkins, as well as Rosamund Pike. Now, I thought of it because I was thinking about Ides of March, and I'm like, oh, Fracture. It's a great investigation film where Ryan Gosling plays a young hotshot attorney who just gets a new lucrative job at a big firm with a big paycheck, and obviously...
Strathairn's in it, too.
Who? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's the boss.
That's right. And, yeah, David Strathairn. And so he's about to accept this job, but he still has one case left. It's a no-brainer for him. He can easily win. He's never lost a case before. It's just like Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves.
I win.
And this stars Anthony Hopkins, who is a very brilliant architect, engineer, who murders his wife and gets away with it and beats Ryan Gosling's character in court.
Beats him up.
In court. But then Gosling puts that job on hold to really go after him and really investigate him and then try to get a retrial for this. But it's really great. It's a great twist of how the retrial happens, but it's a sort of cat and mouse game that sort of gets flipped on its head halfway through.
Great film.
Yeah.
Great improv right there.
Yeah, I'm sorry we didn't plan that.
I don't care.
I improv the whole thing. I made the whole movie up.
None of it's true. Fracture is not a movie.
It's called an improv.
Okay, Michael Scott.
Improv is basically what
Let's go to a real movie because Fracture's not a real
Fracture
movie.
doesn't exist, no.
46, we have David Fincher's Gone Girl, which is really an amazing film. It shows you how strong this list of films is that we have Gone Girl up at 46 because there are some dudes.
I fucking love Gone Girl, too.
It's great. It's unbelievable. One of the better twists you'll see in movies. The cast is excellent. The directing's perfect. Great score. I mean, it's everything you know you're going to get in an adventure film. It's just like execution and mystery and thrills and an incredible story. And on top of that, he really makes you feel like these are real people and their behavior and how they carry themselves on screen. And it's just a wonderful film. I love it.
I love movies with great twists, but what's so cool about Gone Girl is that great twist comes, I think, before an hour. It comes at least around the halfway point.
Yeah,
it's
of the movie. Nowhere near the end.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
Great twist around an hour 15 mark of the movie, as well as nonlinear storytelling.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's excellent stuff.
Next up, we have Rian Johnson's brilliant film, Knives Out, a murder mystery noir, one of the best in a long time, and really got people excited about the genre again. And, you know, Knives Out, it's sharply directed. It's very witty. It's a clever script. Great use of nonlinear storytelling again here with Knives Out, as well as featuring one of the best casts of the last 15 years. I mean, Dune has a great ensemble, but then you look at Knives Out, it's almost just as good of an ensemble cast as a movie like Dune. We have freaking 15 A-listers in this film. It's absurd.
I don't know about 15.
All right. Well, we have
exaggerating.
Well, what we got? We got a lot. Daniel Craig, Anna Armas, Jamie Lee Curtis, Toni Collette.
You got 64 A-listers.
Lakeith.
Not an A-lister at this time.
Yeah, he is.
Not at this time.
He's an Oscar-nominated person.
Now he is.
He's an A-lister.
Not when this movie came out.
Lakeith.
Neither was Anna.
You know what, man?
Just saying. Also, no one under the age of 20 knew who Don Johnson was.
I didn't say Don Johnson. I didn't say Don Johnson.
There are 17 A-list actors in Knives Out.
Christopher Plummer. Michael Shannon. Do I need to keep going? It's endless. Chris Evans. Fucking, that's 10 right there, bro.
That's not 10.
That's it.
That was like 6.
And I'm cut off. That was 10. I was at Lakeith at 6.
No, I'm saying at the point of this release, at the time of this release, some of those actors were not A-listers.
You know what? I didn't say at the time of this movie's release. I said that it has a bunch of A-listers in it.
Okay. Yeah, but when you say it like that, it's like when it came out, like, I can't believe they had this amazing A-list cast.
I never said that.
All right.
I just said Dune has a great cast. Look at Knives Out cast, motherfucker. God damn.
Yeah, but everybody knew them walking into Dune.
Everyone knew him walking into this movie.
I disagree.
You know what, man? I like Knives Out.
There's some
quite
A-listers in it.
There's several.
There's a handful of A-listers in it.
There are a lot of A-listers in Knives Out. There are more A-listers than Knives, and this movie has a lot of knives.
A-listers coming out your ears.
Another great movie with a great twist, great characters, excellent writing. Anthony, you spoiled the fun. Sorry, Rian Johnson. At least he likes The Last Jedi.
Great job, man. I saw someone commented on something. The fact
Nice.
that the fact that you guys put Last Jedi as 5 means you can't even your
Oh, slow on. Go to the beginning.
They said the fact that you put Last Jedi in the top 5 means you don't know what you're talking about.
Top 5 of Star Wars movies?
Yeah.
Did we rank it in top 5?
I did.
I mean, I think that's pretty safe. Yeah, sure. It's probably the best made of the new 3.
It looks great.
Yeah.
Looks phenomenal.
I mean, the new trilogy is not phenomenal anyways. It's not that great of a trilogy.
Neither is the prequel trilogy.
Whoa. I love Revenge, though.
What about Attack of the Clones?
It's got good parts.
It's got good parts. Moving on.
It's like a
Stuff happens.
It's like a Corolla, man. It's got some good parts, man.
What part?
Some good stuff in there.
There's a couple of fights. That's it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's get out of Star Wars and talk about Robert Altman, baby. The Long Goodbye, starring Elliot Gould. Wait, no, his name's not Elliot. Yeah, Elliot Gould. I was just got Eli Gould and 7 threw me off. This is also a great cat film, but he plays a PI who one of his old buddies shows up and he's like, "Hey, I need a ride to Mexico." And he's like, "Sure, I'll drive you to Mexico." Drives him to Mexico, comes back home, and then he finds out that he's now wanted for the murder of that guy's wife. And he's like, "I didn't kill her." And so he's able to finagle himself out of really the investigation. Then he starts investigating what exactly happened to her while taking on another case. It's an incredible LA movie, great character work, great cinematography, and absolute... The ending of this movie, man, it's so good. Such a great movie ending. I love it. The Long Goodbye.
Next up, we have a Steven Soderbergh film, Oscar-winning movie, starring Julia Roberts, who won an Academy Award for this role of Erin Brocovich, based on a true story of this woman who has a handful of kids, she's got a bunch of debt, and she has just a bunch of bad luck, tons of bad luck, leading her to begging a lawyer to hire at a law firm. I think it's the lawyer that... I can't remember their connection. I haven't seen it in a little while.
The what?
The lawyer who hires her, the guy.
Albert Finney?
Yeah, but I can't remember their connection before hiring her. But she begs him for a job, and he obliges.
No, she just walks in.
And okay, that's what it is. And so basically, as she's working at this law firm, she starts to get calls in about these people who are suffering sicknesses, and no one's really listening to them. And this small community where a bunch of people are getting sick, kids are getting sick, and she discovers toxic pollution from a corporation in the area that is not correctly getting rid of hazardous materials, causing people to get sick. Some people are dying. Rare diseases are developing amongst people where they're perfectly safe and healthy. And then this giant conspiracy, this giant crime gets released, and she heads up this investigation basically of calling them out and basically leading up to them getting in trouble, basically.
Sounds great. Can't wait to watch it. Leads to them getting in trouble. What is wrong with you?
My brain switched
Guess
off.
what? They get in trouble. It's Julia Roberts here. You're in trouble.
Sometimes
End of movie.
words. Sometimes the words
Cue
don't
credits.
come out. My brain went to sleep on me. Well, I think the screensaver was on.
Woo! Let's move on back to Brian De Palma with Body Double. One of his most really unrecognized classics. This is an incredible film. Craig Wasson plays this guy who's just broken up with his girlfriend. Just broke up with him. He lost a big acting role, so he's kind of like down and out. And he gets offered a gig house sitting for a swanky place in the Hollywood Hills. And while hanging out in the lounge area, he sees across the valley, he starts spying on a neighbor who's a really sexy blonde. However, while spying on her, he witnesses her murder. This leads him to investigating on his own what happened. However, he has to infiltrate the adult entertainment industry, and he takes on this alternate persona to start asking questions. Great film. Unbelievable. This movie has a great... It's not so much a twist, but more of like a shift in tone. And there's this big moment where it's just like, oh, this is what the movie is now. And it's just absolutely amazing. Also, a good slasher movie, too.
Let's talk about a Dev Patel film, Lion. Came out in 2016. He plays a character who is separated from his family at a young age, and he is adopted by an Australian couple. And about 20, 25 years pass, and he grows up, but he has this searing desire to discover where his family is, who they were, where they are. And thanks to modern technology like Google Earth, he's able to retrace the steps of where he was separated from his family, where his family lived, and eventually try to track them down and reunite with them after 20, 25 years.
It's a great investigation film. It's the most emotional one, too, I think, on this list. Fantastic movie. Rooney Mara's in it as well. Really amazing story. Truth is stranger than fiction sometimes.
The guy who made this, he made Mary Magdalene. That Rooney Mara's in that too, right? Yeah, she plays Mary.
Yeah.
That's right. What's his name?
Guess who shot this movie?
Garth Davis. Who shot Lion?
Yeah.
Hoyt? Emmanuel?
No.
I have no idea.
Greg Fraser shot this.
Oh, Fraser shot it?
It's a
No
really
wonder it looks so
good-looking
good.
film. Let's move into number 40 on our list, and we have an absolute classic from the 1990s in Usual Suspects. You all know Usual Suspects. It's amazing. Incredible characters, a fucking fantastic mystery, amazing screenplay from the man himself, Christopher McQuarrie. Love this film. Spacey's out insane in this movie. The story's so great, and it's an investigation film for sure.
Let's talk about a huge awards winner last year, Anatomy of a Fall. What a picture. Directed by Justine Triet. This won a ton of awards at a ton of festivals and the Academy Awards, Golden Globes, deservedly so. Possibly the best screenplay of the year all around. Phenomenal writing. About a woman whose husband dies after falling out of a window. However, no one saw it happen, and she's on trial as a potential suspect, and we never really know completely what happened. And half the film is her on trial, trying to defend herself with the help of a friend who's a lawyer, and you're kind of flip-flopping whether or not you believe she pushed him out the window to kill him because of all the fighting they had. When we do flashbacks in the nonlinear storytelling, looking at memories of their arguments and the uprooting of her life to make him happy and how that affected their relationship and all the turmoil they're having, but also she seems so innocent. There's no way she could have done this. There are other variables that could have happened. It's an awesome movie. It's so well written, and I loved Anatomy of a Fall.
Excellent movie, man. It's so fucking good. Let's move into William Friedkin. One of the best in American history.
Oh, yeah.
You just watched this for the first
I
time.
fucking love this movie, man.
I heard James was like screaming with joy after this movie was over.
Yeah, I was.
He was like, give it to me again.
I almost put it on again.
That's To Live and Die in L.A. at number 38. This is easily one of the coolest, sexiest, badass movies ever. William Friedkin just directs his ass off in this. It's beautiful. It's so stylish. You can tell how many filmmakers pull off from this movie because it is ahead of the curve in this time period. William Peterson plays Richard Chance, who is a U.S. Secret Service agent out to get counterfeit maker Willem Dafoe.
Willem's awesome in this
Willem
movie.
Dafoe, he's like 22 in this movie, but he looks 40. And Willem Peterson he's coming off Manhunter. He's just the coolest guy in Hollywood for a few years. And he just plays an ultimate badass.
He's so toxic in this movie.
He's very
and I love
toxic.
it.
Yeah, he's a cop who'll do anything to catch the guy, and no matter how bad it is. And he gets another guy killed. His partner, who's like a straight-laced guy, is like, I can't keep doing this, man. There's incredible action. There's one of the craziest car chases ever put on film. They drive on the wrong side of the highway, and they are bobbing and weaving through traffic. Cars are crashing everywhere. They did it for real. It's unbelievable. This movie is exciting. It's fresh. It's sexy. It's cool. Oh, my God. Great score. Watch To Live and Die in L.A. Man, just watch it.
Right now.
Do it
That's
right
the number
now.
one recommendation I have for you for movies at this moment, To Live and Die in L.A.
Fuck yeah.
And you'll thank us later. This movie kicks
Yeah,
so much
thank us
fucking
later.
ass. It might be the best L.A. movie. It's up there.
It's up there, man.
Certainly. I've never seen L.A. look this good, too, before. It's so artistic. The sunsets and dusk shots and dawn shots are remarkable.
As well as the midday shots and then the early evening shots.
As well as but the reds they capture at sunset. You know what I mean? They're amazing. William Friedkin's jeans are amazing, and he's killing it. He's killing it in this movie.
William Peterson's jeans.
Yeah.
You said William Friedkin's jeans.
Did I see Friedkin's William Peterson's jeans?
He does wear jeans. He did wear jeans a lot.
Yeah.
They probably were Genes all over the place.
This fucking guy. Moving on to another recent movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese, starring the great Leonardo DiCaprio, as we all know, plus Lily Gladstone and De Niro. This is based on a true story of the Osage tribe, who were given land by the government after being displaced. Little did anyone know that that land had an ocean of oil underneath it, and soon the Osage became the richest people in the country per capita. And eventually, wolves came sniffing and infiltrated their community. Murders were happening. Marriages to men that weren't marrying people and women for their love, but for money instead. And basically a bunch of men just try to go and take everything from them. And it's about the investigation into those murders. And Leonardo DiCaprio plays the husband of one of the tribeswomen, who is one of the leaders of the tribe, basically. But it's told in a perspective mostly from the Osage and from DiCaprio's perspective, which got a lot of heat, I think, from most people, because it doesn't really end the way people want it to end. But the book is more centered on the FBI, which, excuse me, would have taken away from the Osage storyline if you focus on the FBI investigation rather than the Osage. But it's a tragic story. It's a brilliant masterpiece from Scorsese from beginning to end. And, you know, it's incredible to be that long into a career and at that age and still be one of the best directors alive. He's the only one.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that the ending of this film's controversial, because I thought it was brilliant when Scorsese showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people I've seen so many people have the problem with a white directors telling the story, but also in America, could anyone else have gotten this movie made and have the story even be told on a large scale? You gotta think about it that way. He was the bridge. He was the bridge of the gap.
Plus, it's Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. It's like, you know, movies are our bridge to cultures and communities and stories. And so I think there's nothing wrong with Scorsese being the one to tell the story.
Yeah, but I think we talk about it often, how, you know, if you only let specific directors direct specific movies, then you're just putting them in a box.
Yeah.
And it reduces their amount of opportunities. If you only have, you know, a black director only directing black movies, why can't they make a King Arthur like Antoine Fuqua did in the 2000s? So
Movie's sick.
when you have Martin Scorsese, the greatest filmmaker ever, making your movie in a brilliant way, making a movie that has a lot of substance and a lot to say, it was fine with me.
Yeah, it was great. Next up, we got Spielberg back at number 36 with one of the best sci-fi films of the century, and that's Minority Report, which is an amazing investigation action sci-fi film. John Anderton, played by the one and only GOAT Tom Cruise, has been at the forefront of pre-crime, this new technology that allows police to stop crimes before they are committed by psychic visions from 3 very special individuals. However, he's nabbed as a future crime committer and must figure out how it's happening, why he's going to kill someone he doesn't even know named Leo Crow, and what exactly mystery is behind it all. This is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of my favorite Spielberg movies. It's so good. It flies under the radar. He's got so many great, huge films, but this is flashy. It's so cool, stylish. The CGI for the time is unbelievable. Great action set pieces. Fantastic cast. Max von Sydow. What's his name?
Max von
Colin
Sydow?
Farrell.
Oh.
Colin Farrell. I love this movie so much. It's great. And John Williams, again, with an amazing score. It's a fantastic sci-fi.
Can you do the next one? I haven't seen it.
The Third
I
Man.
haven't seen it. I know it's an Orson Welles movie, though.
So it's an Orson Welles movie. This guy's looking for his friend, and then he meets up with his friend's lady, and she tells him, oh, he's dead. And his friend's like, oh my God, what? So he starts looking into what happened to his friend. Like, he's mixed up in the wrong crowd. However, suddenly his friend shows up, and things are not what they seem. I don't want to say too much because then it'll spoil the movie, but it's an amazing film noir, fantastic twists, and it's just like one of those movies where you don't know what's going to happen next, It's one of Orson Welles' best films, and it's a really excellent investigation film. Figuring out first what happened to his friend, and then figuring out, oh my God, his friend's mixed up in this. How do we help with that? How do we get out of that?
Sounds cool.
It's awesome. Watch it. It's great. Filmmaking and cinematography. Oh my God, it's incredible.
Let's do 2 more, and then we'll do our intermission. And
Sounds good, brah.
Our first Coen Brothers movie on the list, but not the last. Fargo from 1996, an incredible crime comedy starring an ensemble cast of Frances McDormand, Steve Buscemi, William H. Macy, Peter Stormare. Hysterical, dark, witty, and beautifully shot by a fucking legend here, Roger Deakins. Fargo is an all-time crime movie. It really is. It's sensational. It's realistic. I feel like it's loosely based off true stories. It's how absurd and real it feels. And Frances McDormand plays a detective who's heading up the investigation or discovering these murders, a murder in the middle of nowhere, basically, which is connected to a kidnapping that was put on by a man who had his wife kidnapped to try and get money, a ransom from her father. His father-in-law, he wanted his money. He has his wife kidnapped. Goes horribly wrong. Buscemi and Stormare play ridiculous, hilarious, terrible kidnappers and murderers. And this movie is just hijinks after hijinks, high stakes, tons of great little twists. But man, the script is just perfect.
Don't you know?
Don't you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You really need that true coat. Trust me. You're gonna need. Yeah, my boss says like
the true coat.
You're gonna need that true coat.
Oh my God. Next up, at number 33, we have The Maltese Falcon from the great John Huston, starring the icon Humphrey Bogart, who was the biggest star of his time. This is one of the great classic film noirs, and Humphrey Bogart plays a PI who's given this case by this woman, mysterious, seductive woman, about the Maltese Falcon, a statuette. And then, once he takes the case, his own partner is murdered, stuff starts happening, and he's assaulted, and this mysterious man says, I need you to find the Maltese Falcon for me. And so pretty much he comes up with he has to figure out where the statue is, or else he's dead, and he has to also solve the mystery behind who is behind everything. This came out in 1941, pre-war.
Around,
Yeah, that's crazy. That's old movie, but it's unbelievable. He made this obviously right before Casablanca, and it just catapulted him into superstardom. Great, great film.
All right, Anthony. Let's head to our intermission, and then we'll get back to the rest of our list because we still have 32 bangers.
And we got to play Cinephile.
Oh, we're going to play in a minute. Now, before we continue, the very best way to support Raiders of the Lost Podcast, in case you're curious, is to become a patron at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Patreon allows us to do the show full time. It's helped us build an incredible community on Patreon and on our private Discord, which you get access to at a specific tier on Patreon. For as little as $10 for an annual membership, you can be a member of our patronage. Patrons get access to weekly bonus episodes. You get access to the ad-free version of every single episode. You get messages, video messages, free merchandise, depending on the tier. We have 5 different tiers of membership, so go check them out, see which is the best for your budget. And thank you to all of our past, present, and future patrons. Go to patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Another great way to support the show. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. They really, really help the show grow. They help us perform better. They help us get seen by new people. These ratings help build reputability. We broke 2,000 ratings on Apple, which is a big deal. We're at over 3,000 on Spotify, which is also a very big deal.
Woo!
Very excited about that stuff. I'm going to read a written 5-star review on Apple in just a moment because they are so fun, and I love the things that people write. So thoughtful and funny. They get all the inside jokes in there. It's a blast. And also, subscribe on YouTube to help us get to 50K. We're at almost 50,000 subscribers.
Almost there.
If you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, even if you're not a big YouTuber, just sub. We're almost at 50K.
We're doing well on YouTube.
Yeah, we're doing good.
We're also
doing good.
I want to shout out Jason, Daniel, Jordan, Roberta, Ryan, Drew, John, Kathy, and Robert for joining Patreon this past week.
Oh, wow. That's so many new patrons.
Bunch of great new patrons.
Holy crap. Thank you so much, everyone.
We appreciate you.
The final great way to support the show is just share us. Word of mouth is the best way for a podcast to grow organically. You know, we're all about that USDA grass-fed organic stuff.
Grass-fed audience.
Grass-fed audience. Oh, yeah. So just share us with your family, your friends, anyone you know who loves movies, anyone you know who's needs something to listen to at the gym or at work or on long car rides, traveling.
At
Give
school.
them our show. Performing surgery. Imagine someone's doing surgery listening to us.
Hopefully it's not a funny episode. This episode, of course, is sponsored by our friends at movieposters.com, the number one place to get your posters online today. Be sure to use our promo code Raiders10 at movieposters.com, and that'll get you 10% off your order immediately. They have a huge selection of pretty much every movie and TV show imaginable in their poster library, as well as all sorts of sizes, framing, and even backlighting for your poster needs. They have everything from your favorite modern Hollywood blockbuster to your favorite classic. Alternate prints, really cool original movie poster prints that are collector's items. They have lobby cards for your favorite films and scenes, as well as international selections for films from all over the world. These are the best quality posters you can get for your bang, and the most bang for your buck.
You get it for your bang?
You know what I mean. You know what you're picking up what I'm throwing.
The most you get for your bang.
I got these amazing posters. Seven Samurai, Color of Money, Dune Part 2, Taxi Driver. James has, obviously, Lord of the Rings right behind him, Kill Bill. Some cool stuff, man. Go to movieposters.com for all of your poster needs, and be sure to use the promo code Raiders10. That'll get you 10% off your order right now.
All right, let's do our first intermission game, Anthony. We doing Cinephile.
Cinephile.
It's a card game. Not sponsored by the show or anything, but it's just a lot of fun. We got it for Christmas. What Anthony's going to do is he's going to select a card, and the card will have the portrait of an actor or actress, and we have to play a game where we have to go back and forth in naming movies from that person's filmography until we run out, and whoever is the last one to get one wins.
We just did this one, so I'm not going to pull that one. It was
Pick a different-
Schwarzenegger. We just did him last week.
Yeah, well, we didn't do that game of it. Pull it back.
Yeah, we did.
Nuh-uh. We
Yeah.
didn't go back and forth with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, we did.
No, we did not.
Yeah, we did.
When?
Last week.
No, we did not. I would remember this.
We did Schwarzenegger.
We did not do
Yeah, we did.
Schwarzenegger.
We did something with Schwarzenegger.
We did. He was brought up, but we did not do Schwarzenegger.
All right, you want to just do Schwarzenegger?
Fuck yeah, I want to do Schwarzenegger.
Oh, wait, you're right. We didn't.
We never did. Yeah.
We did so. No, we did the 6 Degrees with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, Schwarzenegger's the guy.
Oh, we're doing this.
James is super excited.
So-
James was like, "Don't even think about
It's
it."
Schwarzenegger. Why don't you want to do that?
Okay, so you can't do Total Recall.
Can't do Total Recall.
No, The Running Man.
Can't do the- can't do The Running Man?
Man.
So basically, Total Recall's off the map now because
Yeah.
you said it. So I start with the movie. Anthony goes, and we basically keep going until someone can't do it.
You do your best to keep naming movies that actors have been in until someone can't name them anymore.
Predator,
Terminator.
Terminator 2,
T3, Rise of the Machines.
Terminator Dark Fate,
Terminator Salvation. Wait, no, not Salvation. It's called what's the Dark Fate was. I can't remember what the new one's called. That one's Dark Fate.
Yeah, I got it.
There's another one though. I can't remember.
I don't think he's
whatever. The one Linda Hamilton's in Dark Fate. He's in the other one that came before that, but I can't remember what it's called. So whatever. True Lies.
Which direction should I go with this? End of Days.
Kindergarten Cop. This is not the tumor. Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Jingle all the way.
The Expendables.
The Expendables 2.
I can't remember how many of them he's in, so I'm going to stop with those ones.
Yeah, we'll end it there.
Yeah. I'm going to go with... Oh, shit. Conan the Barbarian.
Conan the Destroyer.
Commando.
End of Days.
Didn't you already do that?
I said the 6th day.
Oh, you're doing all the day ones. Smart strategy.
You got me, man.
Why am I struggling with this? Hold on, I gotta take off my hat.
Yeah,
Sweat. Sweat.
It's getting tough, huh? I mean, he had such a big gap when he was governor.
Yeah, he was governor for 2 terms. Schwarzenegger. Come to me. Come to me.
Come to me. This is Nosferatu. Man, you're taking a lot of time. Giving you 7 more seconds.
7 more. No, give me 15
You've been
more
going for
seconds.
30.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have. You've been twiddling your thumbs.
The Long Goodbye. He's a background actor in The Long Goodbye.
Is he an actor?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Does he have a speaking role though? That doesn't. I feel like that shouldn't count.
He's in it.
That's bullshit, man. That's why
He's in it.
he's a background extra.
No, he's in 2 scenes. He's not an extra. He does stuff. He grabs the guy.
He's not an extra, man. He does stuff.
He interacts with both lead actors.
Okay. Eraser.
Didn't I say that?
Nope.
That's what I wanted to say, but I forgot. God damn it. Long Goodbye saved me for a second. Oh my God, Arnold. I am struggling with Arnold movies. I'm gonna say Expendables 3.
We said we cut it off.
Okay, fine.
You said we cut it off, motherfucker.
I just said I was gonna stop doing them.
No, we cut it off.
I didn't
man.
say I cut it off.
Yes, you did.
I just said I'm gonna stop doing them.
You said cut off.
Fine,
That's what you said those words.
Fine. Escape Plan.
The fuck is that?
Him and Stallone break out of that prison.
Let me double check that. Let me double check. God damn it. Fuck. I thought I had you, man. I can't think of his more recent movies.
I think because they're all like
mediocre,
forgettable.
like sort of VOD.
I don't think I ever saw them.
Actually, like straight to DVD. Because after he was governor, he didn't do much except for the Expendables. Fuck. Arnold. Well, keep chatting while I think, so that people can listen.
Well,
to
people
something.
would think it too. Yeah, it's okay to have a little silence. It's not the end of the world. I wonder what we can do.
Ha! Twins.
Oh, you motherfucker! Junior!
Fuck you! That was gonna be my backup.
Oh my God, this is such a great game. This is a great game. Oh man.
Junior.
It's like they go hand in hand.
They do. They're aren't they connected because? Oh wait, no, they're not. What did DeVito help finance? Did he help
Twins?
Twins. He helped finance Twins. Yeah, they both made a fortune off Twins.
They made a fortune.
Like 50 mil each. Fuck.
Man, this is tough.
I'm trying to think like any cameos he has. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna give up.
You can't think of anything?
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Let me see if I can do it. Otherwise, it's a tie. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh man, there's so many good ones that we missed.
Yeah, I bet.
Just you get the win.
I don't know.
You get the win. He has a cameo in The Rundown.
Oh yeah, at the end.
He's also in The Last Stand. Was that
The Last Stand?
that big action movie he did?
Yeah.
That was his like big one. That and The
Yeah.
Expendables after he
Came back.
came back to acting. The
Last
Last
Stand.
Action Hero.
Oh my God.
Batman and Robin. Mr. Freeze.
Oh, Mr. Freeze.
Fucking hell.
Oh, we did. I mean, pretty.
We
good.
did pretty good.
We did all
We
right.
got most of his movies. Because we couldn't do Total Recall. The Running Man.
Mm-hmm.
Missed The Running Man.
Man, Last Goodbye saved me. Saved me.
Cool.
If that's so, The Last Goodbye, it's when he was still like huge bodybuilder, so he is enormous. He plays the bad guy's bodyguard,
Gotcha.
and he's wearing this really tight red polo shirt. It's huge. Oh man.
All right, let's get into the rest of our intermission. Begin with and start with the movie quote competition. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. Let me get into character.
Oh, cool.
Mom said that when I wear this badge, you're supposed to treat me like a man of the law. Well, Mom also said for you to stop sticking your dick in the vacuum cleaner.
Scary movie. I told you not to disturb me when I'm cleaning my room.
Good night, Sydney.
Hello.
I put my pants.
All right, here's mine. It's not what you know. It's what you can prove.
Fuck, what is this? Fuck, say it one more time.
It's not what you know. It's what you can prove.
I'm going to be so pissed when I don't get this. Shit. What is it?
Training Day.
I knew it was a Denzel line, too. I was in my head, I'm like, that sounds like a Denzel line. Fuck.
Too bad you didn't, pursue that urge.
I'm like, when was he a lawyer?
Nice try.
Guess this movie release year. Castaway.
2004.
2000.
2000! Damn it. What year did Training Day come out?
2001.
Correct. Well done.
We in the office, baby. Pop quiz. Which Wolfgang Peterson movie made the most money? Air Force One, Troy, or The Perfect Storm?
I'm going to say Air Force One.
That's incorrect.
The Perfect Storm.
That's incorrect.
Troy.
So Air Force One made $315 million.
Wow.
The Perfect Storm pulled $328 million.
Close.
Which is a lot.
Wow, yeah.
And then Troy made $497 million.
Wow. Successful career. Bunch of bangers.
Bunch of bangers.
Ethan Hawke played the villain in which Marvel production? What's it called?
Fucking Midnight or what is it? Moon Knight.
Fucking Midnight. What the fuck is it called? Fucking Midnight or something?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. Well done. Well done. What the fuck is it called? Fucking Midnight. Fucking Midnight.
Fucking Midnight.
Fucking Midnight.
Anthony, do we have any unsubscribes?
Oh yeah, we got some. Ethan Hawke, first of all.
Ethan Hawke's Marvel is unsubscribing from Raiders of the Lost Podcast.
On movie news, Jamie Frew. Good work on the podcast, guys. It's my go-to every time I'm cooking. That's something they can do well. They can listen.
Nice.
Regarding how many times you refer to the UK as England in this podcast, it was far too many. Very infuriating. Scotland was also part of Wallace and Gromit's success. Unsubscribe from a disgruntled Scottish listener. Sorry, Jamie. We love you. Next up, we got Drew Dubs introducing the new movie, Batman Silhouette. Unsubscribe.
That's because,
the way you said
Future Commandos.
Yeah. I was like, wait, is this a new Batman Silhouette is a movie? I was so confused. Wiro De Niro. Someone teach these men how to divide for percentages. Unsubscribe. Next up, we got Pizza Boy. Referring to the UK as England when you talked about Better Man, I expected better from you gentlemen. Unsubscribed. Amazing video, as always. Thanks, pal.
That Better Man clip on TikTok, going to the moon, kid. 4,000 comments.
4,000 comments?
4,000.
What?
That's the most commented video I think we've ever had.
In 12 hours. Not even in 10 hours.
Insane.
Wow.
Fucking insane.
That's crazy. 4,000 comments? That's
93,000 likes. That's nuts.
Damn. Next up, we got Thomas Chauvin on Best Movies of 2024. Came from Apple Podcasts because I was screaming 21 Jump Street, and for that reason, I must unsubscribe. Jonah Hill Cinephile.
And that was such a good one. So we did Cinephile the first time we ever did it for the intermission with Jonah Hill, and we killed it.
Yeah, it was great.
It was like 30.
It was great. Landon. Chris Nolan's favorite movie of the year was Gladiator 2. Not Dune 2. Unsubscribed. Neither of you put Unfrosted as your favorite movie of the year. Double unsubscribed. You didn't read your list at the end so I could decide which was my favorite list. Triple unsubscribed.
Oh, we should have done that.
Yeah, we should. Yeah,
I put it on Twitter. They're on Twitter.
Tony Boomgarden. Long Kiss Goodnight is also a Christmas movie as well. Not going to unsubscribe, but just saying. Smiley face. Love the smiley face. Then we got Tyree, best Christmas movies. I watch Gremlins every Christmas day, and pretty much half of my presents this year were related to that movie. I don't know why I have chosen that movie to be my favorite, but whether it's seeing this little green monster exploding in a kitchen or hearing how a man got stuck and died in a chimney on Christmas Eve, I'm very glad I don't have to unsubscribe due to you not excluding that masterpiece on your list. Thanks, pal. We love Gremlins too. Always have, always will.
Gremlins 2 or Gremlins TOO?
TOO.
Yeah.
TOO.
The second one's silly. It loses a bit of its edge, but it's still fun.
Mm-hmm. Next up, Drew Dubs again. The actor was Jonah Hill, and neither of you said any of How to Train Your Dragon movies.
I've never seen them, sorry.
Also, Happy New Year. Also, unsubscribed. Also, can I get a shout out?
Happy New Year. Here's your shout out.
Thanks, pal. Sizzle reel. If it's bad. Our YouTube is connected to our TikTok, so it posts old TikTok clips onto our YouTube Shorts.
Yeah,
and it posted the trailer for our Midnight Ruin film, and Sterling said, "If it's bad, I'm unsubscribing." All right, that's it. We're caught up. Great unsubscribes this week.
We have a great 5-star written review from Mackenzie Watches Movies. What about these Christmas movies? Film boys. Love the show, avid listener on the daily,
nice.
But I have to unsubscribe. Your recent Christmas episode left my stomach in knots, and it wasn't the eggnog. You missed some really good Christmas movies. Sleepless in Seattle, While You Were Sleeping, When Harry Met Sally, You Got Mail.
All the Meg Ryan ones.
Silver Linings Playbook. If you're going to mention Die Hard and Lethal Weapon, which I agree are Christmas movies, then these films also deserve their poinsettias too. Anyways, I may have to resubscribe by Christmas morning because I'm looking forward to your Holdovers episode.
Aww.
Keep up the fantastic content. Merry Christmas from a film girl, Mackenzie.
Thanks, Mackenzie.
Thank you so much for that wonderful, funny review. We appreciate you listening on the daily, Mackenzie. That's the best news I've heard all year so far in 2025. Hopefully you enjoyed the Holdovers episode. That was a lot of fun to do. And you know what? I regret not putting these on the list. Next time we do a Christmas list, I promise we'll get their poinsettias.
No, he's going to forget.
I'm totally going to forget.
All right, you're going to pick one. You've Got Mail or Sleepless in Seattle. What are you picking?
I'm going to go You've Got Mail.
Nice. I would go You Got Mail as well.
I like Sleepless in Seattle, but I think You've Got Mail is more charming.
I love Sleepless in Seattle, but they don't meet until the end.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
It's from the 80s.
It's from the 90s. I hope. Yeah?
Is it?
It's the 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
But You've Got Mail.
Tom Hanks in there.
Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks and McRyan. Mug Ryan.
93 for Seattle.
Tom Hanks.
Thomas Hanks.
But yeah, You've Got Mail is really great. I love it.
They're both.
I love the ending. It's very sweet. It's great.
Anthony, what is your streaming recommendation?
Juror number 2 is now on Max. If you want to watch it, check it out. It's good shit.
Great picture.
Good picture.
My streaming recommendation is The Social Network. Just got put on Prime Video for 2025.
Ooh.
Great film. I would love to do an episode on it very soon. All right, let's get back into our episode on Best Investigation Films, and we've done 32 that are great. Be prepared for even more greatness with the rest of our list. Next up, we have from Edgar Wright, Hot Fuzz, the great action comedy drama that pokes fun of so many buddy cop movies in brilliant ways. Nick Frost, Simon Pegg, chemistry off the charts, one of the best comedic duos of the 21st century when it comes to comedies in general. This movie has so much fun action, great writing, excellent directing from Edgar Wright as usual. His great editing and quick cuts work like a charm like usual. It's witty, it's sarcastic, it's light at times, but also dark and scary at times. I love Hot Fuzz. Detective Angel is maybe Simon Pegg's best role. He's really terrific in this movie, and I think Hot Fuzz might be Edgar Wright's best movie still. It's up there with Shaun of the Dead.
At number 31, we have Fritz Lang's M, which is an incredible film about both the police and criminal underground working together to track down a child serial killer. It's an incredible piece of filmmaking, wonderful black and white photography, and an edge-of-your-seat thriller. Check it out if you have not seen it.
Next up, L.A. Confidential, a fucking banger from 1997 with a stellar cast. We have Guy Pearce, Russell Crowe, Kevin Spacey, Kim Basinger, James Cromwell, Danny DeVito, David Stratham. What the fuck? This movie's so good. I rewatched it and revisited it last year and had such a great time. It's just such a fun play on classic noir. It feels like Chinatown in a lot of ways, but it's very sexy. More of an ensemble cast for sure. But hits all of the cliches of so many characters from those great noir movies of the past. A great mystery, excellent investigation. We have terrific characters. You know, Russell Crowe playing this huthead, Guy Pearce playing this do-gooder, pretty boy, upper-class investigator who'll do anything to achieve success. Spacey plays like a star detective, a famous celebrity detective. DeVito's a photographer, magazine man, all connected in different ways. This movie's a lot of fun. Great directing from Curtis Brown from 8 Mile.
Next up, speaking of great directing, we got Billy Wilder's Double Indemnity, which is an unbelievable film noir, one of the best of its time. A man who shows up at the offices ready to die because he messed up. He didn't get the girl. He didn't get away with it. And then it's like, what exactly didn't you get away with? Well, he's going to tell you the story, and it's an incredible one. Check it out. It's incredibly thrilling, so dramatic, so well shot. Billy Wilder, one of the best directors of all time. This just might be his masterpiece. So it's great.
Next, we have a movie that is referenced in Seven. We just saw Seven in theaters recently at the re-release, and it was such a great experience in IMAX. Fucking hell, it looked good. Serpico is brought up in that movie where Gwyneth Paltrow calls, or he says Serpico has to go to work when he says goodbye to Tracy.
Gotta get that crusty
morning.
out your eyes, Serpico.
Serpico starring Al Pacino is a banger. I watched this for the first time like 2 or 3 years ago, directed by Sidney Lumet, who's just a brilliant filmmaker. Pacino plays an idealistic cop who he won't accept bribes. He won't get corrupt in a police system that's corrupt as hell. He's this sort of a lone ranger kind of guy. He's very hippie-ish. He does things his own way. He's all about doing the things that are right. And it's very similar to Place Beyond the Pines in a lot of ways, Bradley Cooper's character, where he's going to bring corruption to the forefront of the public eye that's happening in the police.
Just no windbreakers.
Yeah, no windbreakers and no troubled sun. But Serpico's great. Pacino's so much fun in this movie. It's got great laughs, but also great writing. It's one of his better performances. And if you've never seen Serpico, I can't recommend this movie enough for his career, which is so storied. But this one definitely flies under the radar a lot.
I'm going to come out of left field with another film that we didn't put on this list.
What?
And you reminded me of it.
Oh, I did not plan for this. Anthony.
Neither did I. Here's another improv.
This is called an improv conversation.
Cruising, starring Al Pacino from William Friedkin. He plays NYPD cop who's tasked with going undercover in the gay BDSM culture of New York City to track down a killer who keeps killing gay men. It's an incredible film, highly stylized, so palpable and raw. You've never seen anything like it before. It's really cool, and just I think one of the most interesting movies made in the 80s. Cruising is just absolutely phenomenal, and Al Pacino is fantastic. The great cast overall. The direction is top notch, but Cruising is a phenomenal piece of work.
That actually just reminded me of another movie.
The improv continues.
I'm gonna do another improv here. Boss Baby.
Okay, explain Boss Baby's plot.
I'm just kidding. It's the first movie that came into my head.
It's not even an investigation one.
It's not.
Get out of here.
Silly.
Let's move into the real movie. At number 27, we have The Killers, which is a great film starring Ava Gardner and Burt Lancaster. And it's really cool. This movie opens with two assassins show up at a diner to kill this guy called the Swede. He doesn't put up a fight, and he lets them kill him. However, the investigator of the case is really curious why this guy didn't try to get away or anything. He finds out there was a huge insurance policy on this guy's life. He's trying to find out who got the insurance policy. And then we get the story of Burt Lancaster's past, his connection to Ava Gardner's character, and then the crime that she wheeled him into. It's a great film.
Next up, we're heading to South Korea. Park Chan-wook's Decision to Leave, which won many awards at the 2023 Raiders of the Lost Oscars.
Oh, yeah. Cleaned up.
Cinematography, screenplay, I think best actress.
Director.
Best director from Park Chan-wook. What a remarkable movie for such a storied career from this guy. One of the best filmmakers living. And Decision to Leave is an excellent mystery of two people who have a connection, but they can't pursue it because of where they are. And this movie follows a detective investigating a murder and the death of this man. And this woman is connected to that man. It's her husband, or her wife, I mean. Right?
Sorry, what were you saying? His wife.
He's investigating the death of that man.
Yes.
Who was killed.
Yes.
It looks like an accident or suicide.
Yeah, it looks, but she's a suspect.
But she's the suspect
yes.
in the investigation.
Correct. I was literally looking at photos of Touch of Evil. I was like, that's a cool shot.
One of our favorite movies of the last couple of years, man. This movie's stellar. The filmmaking is just pristine. And Park Chan-wook is just a director who has so much confidence, so much control over story. This movie is also a bit twisty, a bit twisted, and has a horribly tragic ending. And we both adore it.
Next up, we do have Touch of Evil, which came out in 1958. Well, I was just like looking at I always forget how like Orson Welles is so unrecognizable in this movie. He doesn't even look like Orson Welles in some ways. This is a really great film noir and investigation. A bomb explodes in a car on the American border of the Mexican-American border, American side of the Mexican-American border. And then an investigator from Mexico and then an investigator from America team up to find out who was responsible for the explosion. And Orson Welles plays the American, Charlton Heston plays the Mexican. Bear with me. It's the 50s. And so what happens is Charlton Heston, he's straight-laced. He's a Boy Scout. And he learns that Orson Welles and his partner are trying to frame an innocent man for the crime so that they can solve it and get it done with. And when Charlton Heston tries to stop them, it puts his life in jeopardy of them.
Nice.
Yeah, stuff happens.
Plot.
Boss baby.
Next up, we're back with Friedkin, baby.
Yes.
Manhunter. What a picture. I revisited this on Thanksgiving when I was home in Boston. I couldn't sleep, so I put on Manhunter and Amazon Prime on my laptop in bed.
That's not Friedkin.
Or it's not Friedkin.
It's Michael Mann.
Sorry. Oh, Michael Mann.
It's okay, man.
I'm sorry, Michael
It's
Mann.
just because William Peterson's in it.
Yeah. To Live and Die in L.A. Just back-to-back years. Anyways, Manhunter. A really incredible movie about Hannibal Lecter as a consultant for a detective who's trying to find a serial killer. The Red Dragon is basically the same movie, same book adaptation, but this one's different and probably, in a lot of ways, in my opinion, better than the Ray Fiennes, Edward Norton version. This one, stylized, sexy as hell because obviously William Peterson's in it. Peterson plays
What a honk!
an FBI consultant an agent who's retired but gets roped back into the bureau to try and help the bureau solve the mystery of the serial killer who's on the loose. They can't catch him. They have no clues. They don't know where the hell he is. Who's going into people's homes and murdering them while they're asleep.
And putting glass in their eyes.
Yeah, and cutting their eyes out of their photos. This movie's creepy as hell. And again, it's really well shot. The music's awesome. But Peterson really carries this movie on his back in so many ways. It's an edge-of-your-seat thriller. You know, the stakes are really high for this guy. He's got a family. He was told that he would be kept behind in the shadows, but the public gets wind of him being on the team because he had a run-in with Hannibal Lecter, who cut his face up. Brian Cox plays a brilliant version of Hannibal Lecter. And if you've never seen Manhunter, put it on your watch list right now.
What do you think about doing Manhunter in Silence of the Lambs? Of verses.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But if you want to do a versus,
Red
well, I mean,
Dragon.
for me, Silence of the Lambs is on a different level than Manhunter.
Well, yeah, it's a superior film, but there's some really cool things about Manhunter.
But if you want to do a versus, you do Manhunter versus Red Dragon.
Yeah, I guess.
Because
but that's
they're the
like
same-
it's just the same thing.
Yeah, no. But Silence of the Lambs is too fucking good, man.
It's great. It might even end up being on this list.
It could be on this
It's
list.
possible.
I don't know.
You know what is on this list, though, is Boss Baby. I mean, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo from 2011, David Fincher's version, which we think is superior, and just a flat-out incredible piece of filmmaking. Stieg Larsson's book took the world by storm, and it's a great a series of novels. I loved Elizabeth Salander character. Rooney Mara was fantastic. Daniel Craig is amazing. Stellan Skarsgård, Plummer, Robin Wright. Unbelievable directing. I love the film so much. It's a great score. I think it's a really interesting movie. And we had seen the Swedish films before. Like, we were fans when it came out.
Yeah, we loved the books and we watched those movies.
Yeah, we saw them in theaters. And then when I saw Fincher's, I was like, this is just like the grandest scope and scale and quality possible.
The Swedish trilogy is still great.
Yeah, it's great.
Just, they're limited. It's David fucking Fincher.
Yeah, and it's just David Fincher with $100 million. So, like, it's going to be fucking awesome. I love the film. It's a really great long movie. Honestly, they cut it down a lot. It could be longer, in my opinion. I just love watching this movie because he's such an expert craftsman, and his team is so great, and I just love everything about this film. It's really fantastic.
It's got such a good credit opening too.
Yeah.
Man, I love Dragon Tattoo. I'm so glad we have it on this list. Next up, we have from Christopher Nolan. Before Insomnia, he made, as you know, the wonderful crime mystery drama Memento, about a man who suffers from short-term memory loss, investigating and trying to find out who murdered his wife. And he wakes up every day looking at tattoos on his body as clues as to remind himself of, he knows who he is, but remind himself of what he's doing. Of this man, John G., killed my wife. This is the evidence I know. These are the facts I know. But he's an unreliable narrator because of his short-term memory loss. He can't make new memories, which is why he does the tattoos, why he's constantly taking notes. But his notes can be biased at a specific moment, depending on how he's feeling, as well as what's happening and the people taking advantage of him. This movie is really well written. Oscar nomination for Nolan, based off a short story that his brother Jonathan Nolan wrote that was published in a magazine. And he tells the story in the film, Nolan, both forwards and backwards at the same time. It's half black and white, half color. And this is a really great way to keep the audience on their toes and put us in the shoes of Leonard Shelby, played by Guy Pearce, who his mind is scattered. His mind thinks it's focused. He thinks he's on the right path. He thinks he knows all the facts, but little does he know he's not in control of anything. And awesome movie.
We actually have the special release on DVD, and the DVD case is a mystery itself. It's the medical report for Shelby Leonard, the psychiatric report, as well as Leonard Shelby, as well as evidence, mysteries. There's a really cool menu here, and you have to follow instructions in order to watch this.
No, well, you don't have to follow instructions. But you have to figure it out.
Yeah, you have to figure out the clues.
But then you can look at the instructions.
There are clues in this, and then it helps you sort through the main menu guide of the film. So it takes some time to actually watch it and see the post-it note that says "watch." This is a really cool box set collector's item. I think this is fantastic.
Post-it should have funded this movie.
Yeah, for real. It's a great, and the menu's really cool when you actually use it. I love this. All right, let's move into number 21. We have Park Chan-wook's Oldboy, which is a phenomenal piece of filmmaking. One of the best of that year for sure. Put him on the map all over the world. And it's about this man who is mysteriously taken and placed into this room for 15 years. And this room is just like a studio apartment. He eats the same dumplings every day for food, and the same television shows are playing on TV. It's a prison. He doesn't know why he's there. He's going crazy. He's going mad. He's losing his grip on reality. And then eventually, out of nowhere, 15 years later, he's released just like that. He doesn't know why. He doesn't know who. He doesn't know how. And so he's determined to figure out what exactly is happening and who's behind everything. Fucking great movie.
Let's move on to my man. I'll put respect back on his name. Michael Mann's film, The Insider, starring Al Pacino and Russell Crowe. Another searing drama.
Yes.
Edge of your seat, based on a true story. Al Pacino plays a TV producer doing a story with the help of a man played by Russell Crowe, who was a former tobacco executive. And he's basically a scientist. And he's a whistleblower of the health risks and the safety hazards that come with smoking cigarettes and how it can cause cancer and how it can make you sick and how bad it is for you.
It's the addictive properties of cigarettes.
Gotcha.
That was the whistleblowing.
Oh, okay. The addictive
that they made it addictive.
Copy that. Which they clearly did. And this guy, this whistleblower, puts his life on the line, puts his family on the line to continue telling the truth because it's what he believes in, no matter how much it destroys his life, and get these industry secrets out to try to get the truth out and try to help people. This is a really great movie. Great story involving real-life corruption that, in a lot of ways, is still ongoing.
Speaking of corruption, and I mean, some of the best investigation films are journalism films, like The Insider, and then All the President's Men, which is really, in my opinion, probably the greatest journalism film. Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford play Bernstein and what's his friggin' name? Woodward, thank you. And their breaking of the Watergate case thanks to the secret Deep Throat. This is an incredible film, so expertly directed with phenomenal cinematography from Gordon Willis, expert craftsmanship, and phenomenal performances. Very timely. And then this is just really just like a bare knuckle, no nonsense, great mystery thriller. The world feels so real. The stakes seem very high, and it's overall just a wonderful picture, one of the greatest of the 70s, All the President's Men.
I still remember the first time I saw All the President's Men. Yeah. Back in the day on Barton Street, DVD in Anthony's Dungeon. I think you
Netflix by mail.
You recommended it to me. You said, hey, I got this movie. You should watch it. It's really great. Mm-hmm. And it floored me. Yeah. And it was my favorite movie for like a month.
Yeah, I mean, I think once you see that, you're like, it's a very cool movie.
Yeah, it's hip for the times.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And culturally, really relevant at the time. Mm-hmm. Still is in a lot of ways. But I loved All the President's Men. The movie's so fucking good.
Fucking awesome. Fucking really great movie.
We're going to go 3 journalist movies in a row.
Back to back to back.
This time we're going to go to Boston again.
Fucking Boston guy.
Spotlight, based on a true story of 2001 Boston Globe investigation of journalists going after allegations of the Archdiocese Catholic Church of Massachusetts and Boston of a priest accused of molesting children. Now, this is something that is true, based on real events. We used to get the paper every week, and we would see the headlines for this story while it was happening, and it was shocking. You know, we went to church every Sunday. This shit was wild.
We read the Globe.
It was crazy. Yeah, I just said we got it every week.
Yeah, no, I'm saying the Globe specifically.
Yeah, the sports section though, mostly.
Comic strips and the weather in the back.
But you know, this was a serious allegation that people found out, and the investigators found out the church was covering up for years, and not just one priest, several priests, going back decades.
Hundreds of victims.
Child abuse. Yeah. Victims calling in like crazy after the story hit pages. But the entire film is about the process of doing the investigation and then whether or not to actually release the story. You know, dealing with and understanding the consequences of what happens when the story gets out. And some of the reporters are on the fence. Some of the reporters are adamant that we have to get them. We have to go after them. It could have been any one of us. We were all used to go to church here. And it was shocking. It's tragic. It's terrible. And the realities were that the church was covering up. They would move priests whenever there was allegations against them to a different church. Sometimes they got moved to the Vatican. Crazy circumstances of abuse for years and years and years. But this was a huge story, and it was basically an epidemic, you could say, in a way, around the entire world.
What do you think about the film, though?
Film's great.
Thanks.
Well, I'm telling the story of the movie. Centarpio's is in it. That's great.
Oh, yeah, the movie. The movie's good.
The pizza. Centarpio's pizza. Ruffalo's really great in this movie. Who else is the
Keaton, Rachel McAdams.
Liev Schreiber, Stanley Tucci, John Slattery.
It's a really good movie.
It's fucking awesome movie. Best Picture winner.
One Best Picture.
It was the Best Picture winner that when it won, everyone was like, what? It was the most quiet Academy Award win for the crowd ever.
What was it up against? Spotlight
remember.
beat movie for Oscars.
2015 was when it came out. So 2016 Academy Award winners. Best Picture nominations. Bridge of Spies, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant. It beat The Revenant, The Martian, The Big Short, Room in Brooklyn. Wow. That's why I was surprising it won. The Revenant, I can't believe that did not win.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, it won.
What an upset.
Yeah.
No one.
I mean, I was hoping for The Revenant as well. But I mean, Spotlight's great.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal movie.
Speaking of Mark Ruffalo, we got him back in action with Martin Scorsese's Shutter Island, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, also Ben Kingsley, Michelle Williams, Max von Sydow, Emily Mortimer. Amazing film. This is such a great movie. I mean, it's funny. Whatever list we make, Scorsese's got a movie on it. He's got 2 on this one.
Well, Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, Catch Me If You Can was on the Christmas movies
If we did
list.
comedies, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. Think of a movie genre, and he's done it, just not sci-fi. And Shutter Island's amazing. It's so dynamic and amazing twist and great mystery. DiCaprio's fantastic as Teddy Daniels. The filmmaking is outstanding. I like the music in this one. There's a lot of Penderecki music involved in this movie, and it just works so well. I mean, he's just an expert behind the camera. This is an example of why he's the best. He really can do anything, no matter the genre. He pulls off horror, pulls off the mystery so well. The surrealism in the filmmaking is really great. The abstract nature of the narrative. I think it's just a phenomenal piece of filmmaking.
Let's talk about Francis Ford Coppola and The Conversation. Squeeze that one in between The Godfathers. It's a reference to The Gentleman. I'd never seen this movie until, 4 or 5 years ago when you highly recommended it, as you do with a lot of the movies I watch. And I finally got around to watching The Conversation starring Gene Hackman, and this movie was remarkable. It's so well crafted. It's creative, even though it's about a guy who, using listening devices, is basically spying on people. And, this is the 1970s, limited tech, analog tech. How do you make that look really interesting? How do you build a whole story around that? And Coppola really knows how to fucking tell a story because he makes it seamless. He makes it engaging. He makes it highly interesting. I love the voyeuristic filmmaking and POV perspective that you get of the characters in this movie. Gene Hackman's really great in this movie. It's got a bunch of different interpersonal relationship levels working as well with the relationships with people that he are his colleagues as well as friends. But overall, the story of this movie is really great. But again, you'd be surprised how fucking good this movie is after hearing a quick synopsis of it. And it's just so good.
What else is so good is number 15's The Wailing. One of the best South Korean horror films of all time, about a cop who's investigating crazy occurrences, a viral outbreak, mysterious murders, and a very strange individual living in the woods, culminating in a shocking finale that will make your spine tingle and your soul squirm. The Wailing is just an absolute beast of a movie. I love it so much.
Let's talk about the only superhero movie on this list, The Batman, which is a stellar investigation film. And when Matt Reeves made his Batman movie, it was clear he wanted to do something different for live action. And one of those things that he wanted to do was really bring a great investigation aspect to Batman Bruce Wayne. Not that he'd never done it before live action, but really make that one of the main points of the film and really tap into the world's greatest detective in a live action version of the character and for the movie. And he really knocked it out of the park with The Batman. It's such a remarkable movie. It's one of the best superhero movies made in the last 5 years. It really stands out artistically, aesthetically. It's really clever. Great villain, great characters. Robert Pattinson is the Batman. Greg Fraser's cinematography is lauded and praised on the daily on social media platforms and on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. People still talk about the Batman all the time.
Yeah, and all these years later.
It's been 4 years.
It's been 3.5.
It's been 3.5 years, man.
They're still talking about this movie.
They still are.
In this day and age.
People talk about it like it just came out.
Can you believe it?
I'm just saying. But this movie, in addition to being a great investigation movie, it's kick-ass. It looks so good. The action sequences are awesome, and we've done episodes on the Batman, so go back and check them out. But
It's a really good episode.
I love the investigation aspect of this film.
Next up, we got at number 13, The French Connection from our boy William Friedkin. Back once again, absolute GOAT. Gene Hackman and Roy Scheider play detectives who are trying to bring down a French drug ring in New York City. This is brutal, raw, super visceral, incredible action, a wonderful car chase that just defies expectations, and Gene Hackman's a really strong lead. It's super cool as well. You'll never see a cop film like this. It's absolutely fantastic.
One of Alfred Hitchcock's masterworks is next on our list, Vertigo, at number 12 from 1958, starring, obviously, his guy, Jimmy Stewart, and Kim Novak. This movie's about an ex-police officer who is hired by an old buddy to basically make sure that his wife doesn't commit suicide, but it's not all it seems is right. There's some things that are a bit off here. And what leads... Also, Jimmy Stewart has a fear of heights. Vertigo. Like the title. They said the name of the movie in the movie. Which led to... Was it the first dolly zoom shot ever done? This movie?
Not the first one, but in a mainstream movie, yeah.
The most famous dolly zoom shot with the stairwell, and a couple other shots really remarkable. This is a movie that if you've never seen from his filmography, you can't recommend it enough. I remember the first time I saw it, I was really just blown away because I know his greats. I've seen his greats, but I haven't seen all of Hitchcock's movies personally. But this is one of those ones that, I hope never gets remade, but talks of Downey wanting to do that are still on the table.
Oh, he bought the rights.
Yeah, so he has the rights to make it for a film. Whether or not he does it, we'll find out in the next several years. I hope he doesn't, but you never know. But, Vertigo's great, and all of Hitchcock movies are going to get remade at some point, and it's great.
Tintin is now public domain.
Tintin is?
Yeah, the 1929 group of films and books are now public domain. Anything came out until 1929 are public domain.
Oh.
So, a lot of cool movies and novels were that year. Tintin's one of them. Popeye as well.
Popeye?
Yeah, Popeye is public domain now.
It's coming out, yeah. That's right. I remember we saw that a couple months ago.
Next up, at number 11, Martin Scorsese's back again. Fucking A. The Departed. He's got so many movies on this list. I love it. The Departed is just one of the best cop movies ever, one of the best crime movies ever, one of the best investigation films ever. We got two people investigating the opposite sides. Matt Damon's trying to break into the police force, and then we have Leo, who's trying to find out who the mole is.
Both moles.
Both moles. I don't know why I said that.
They didn't break in. They're both in.
Yeah, they're both in.
They're both in, man.
But it's great, and he's trying to.
I have to find
He's trying
myself.
to find the evidence to bring down Frank Costello, played by the great Jack Nicholson. You guys know The Departed. We fucking love this movie. It's awesome. It's one of the best Boston movies ever.
There's like 7 Boston movies on this
Yeah,
list.
it's cool. I mean, there's a lot of crime in Boston, so it makes sense.
Boston and New York all over this list.
But we're moving into the top 10. How about you take it away with number 10?
Taken away at number 10, David Fincher again, and it won't be the last time you see him on this list, with his San Francisco classic, Zodiac. An amazing film.
You're right there?
Yeah, I hit the mic into my throat. An amazing serial killer investigation film, but unlike most serial killer movies you've ever seen, because we don't technically really ever see the serial killer. And I read this story where after he made Seven, makes a couple other movies, makes Zodiac, the studio's like, oh, this isn't really like Seven. They thought he was going to make a serial killer movie like that, but that's not what Zodiac is. That's not what the story
people
is.
reading documents.
This is a journalist movie. It's a cartoonist movie at the end of the day. Great cast. Downey,
a cartoonist
and Jake Gyllenhaal are phenomenal together.
We'll make a top 10 cartoonist
top
movies.
10 cartoonist movies.
There's
Zodiac,
American Splendor, and that's it.
Jake Gyllenhaal is great in this movie. Their chemistry is off the charts. Downey plays Paul Avery, a hotshot celebrity reporter in San Francisco who is reporting on the Zodiac, as well as Gyllenhaal plays a cartoonist at the...
Sorry. Cartoonist movie.
Cartoonist movie. Plays a cartoonist who eventually becomes so obsessed with the Zodiac killings at the Chronicle, at the newspaper that receives the letters from the Zodiac, that he basically leaves his job to investigate full time. This movie's so well made. It takes place over a period of over several years. Great character work, great writing, sharp directing. Fucking hell.
Wicked shot.
Mark Ruffalo's great in this too.
A lot of Ruffalo.
A lot of Ruffalo.
A lot of Ruffalo.
Who would have thought? A lot of
Ruffalo's everywhere.
A lot of Ruffalo.
All right, next up at number 9, we have Michael Mann. Mark Ruffalo's not in this, though. It's De Niro and Pacino and Val Kilmer. This is flat out, I just think it's one of the greatest films ever made. It's perfect. There will never be movies like Heat ever made. Like, this is just like, you can't do it any better than this. Like, Michael Mann at his absolute best with a fantastic story, and everything just comes together. It's those once in like a decade kind of movies, Heat, and it's just a phenomenal piece of work.
All right, let's talk about a great film from Bong Joon-ho. 2003 he made and came out with Memories of Murder. A great serial killer murder investigation film about a couple of single-minded detectives who get assigned to a double murder investigation in South Korea in a province. And basically what ends up happening is their investigation of trying to catch the serial killer who is eluding, obviously, the police for years. That goes on and on and on while dealing with the local public and local community. Trying to piece together what happened to this person, how they got murdered. But the clues just never add up and they can't figure it out. And time goes on. And this movie has this great last 5 minutes that really connect to the entirety of the investigation in a brilliant way. This movie's dark, but it's also funny as hell, like many of Bong Joon-ho's movies are.
This is like the serial killer movie. It's like the only one that really makes the serial killer feel like a predator out there, because he kills people often when they're alone, walking through the valleys, through the hills, on those dirt roads and stuff. And so this is the one film where like the killer always feels like he's like an animal. You know what I mean? I love it.
Love.
At number 7, we have Denis Villeneuve's excellent film Prisoners, starring Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Paul Dano, a bunch of other great actors. This is a wonderful piece of drama and fiction and fantastic filmmaking from Roger Deakins and Villeneuve and the whole team. Some of the best performances of these actors' careers, and they've all done some really good ones. And this is one of those movies that just like, it's really rewatchable. It's super dark, super grim, highly emotional, but it's just so well done. You can just watch it over and over and see new things, and I think it's just such a brilliant piece of work, and it was a great step forward for Villeneuve and great for Warner Brothers to make a huge budget rated R movie like this that, you know, it cost them a lot of money to make. It's a big risky investment, but it paid off, and everyone loves this movie. This will really stand the test of time.
You know, I think we fucked up.
Why? What did we forget?
We got to add a couple right now. Well, I'm going to add one that wouldn't be in the top 10, but Incendie from Denis Villeneuve
yeah.
is another great investigation film.
Yeah.
About this woman going back to the Middle East where where her mother's from to discover and try to find her father. Despite the protests of her brother. Phenomenal Denis Villeneuve movie, really incredible. Incendie, spelled Incendies. Great French film that he made years ago. Also, you could put Blade Runner 2049 on here.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
Blade Runner 2049 is an investigation
Then you
movie.
could also put Blade Runner on.
Exactly. So I think we should talk about Blade Runner 2049 and Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Those would be top 20 investigation films. I can't believe we didn't even think of that. I mean,
I think I was just avoiding sci-fi.
yeah, I guess so. But I mean, you put Minority Report on here.
I did.
He's got a soft spot for Spielberg, clearly. Oh, he's got a...
Because then you open up to it. It's a very hard spot. It's not soft, trust me. It's semi-hard. It's actually fully hard spot. I think I avoided sci-fi just because then you open up to a ton of movies.
Like what?
Total Recall?
I guess,
There's so many sci-fi movies.
Yeah. But I just thought, because Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049, they are literally detectives.
You're right.
But you know, I get why
They're
you didn't
great.
do. I get why you didn't do sci-fi except for Spielberg.
Because he's a detective.
Yeah,
He's a
Blade Runner 2049.
detective.
Kay's a detective in 2049.
He's I guess he's a
Blade Runners are detectives in a lot of ways.
It's a detective movie. You're right.
Yeah.
It is. But I'm saying that then you have so many other great sci-fi movies that you get put on the list.
True, I know.
You know,
But I just want to bring them up because I know someone might say, "Hey, what about 2049? What about Blade Runner? What about Incendie?" But now,
I mean, Arrival's an investigation movie.
no, it's not.
Yeah, they're investigating the aliens that showed up.
They're not investigating.
How are they not investigating?
They investigate for like 10 minutes, then they're just chatting.
Interstellar's an investigation movie.
Arrival is a
The Thing is an investigation
Arrival
movie.
is a yapping movie.
We need to
The Thing's not an investigation.
We need to investigate what's going on with this giant monster. This monster is killing people. We need to investigate what's happening.
Arrival is a yapping movie. The Thing is a monster movie.
Source Code is an investigation movie.
That is an investigation.
Yeah,
movie.
I said, it's an investigation movie. Dark City, Inception can fall into there.
Inception's
Deja
a
Vu.
heist movie.
Deja Vu is an investigation movie.
Oh yeah, it is an investigation movie. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad
It just opens it up to so many others, so I avoided the genre. Because then it's turning into a sci-fi list.
True.
Too much of a sci-fi list. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Maze Runner's technically investigation. They're investigating what the hell's going on with this maze. Every day they're running out there like, what's going on?
Yeah, the door's opening. Let's go look and see what's going on.
Edge of Tomorrow. They're investigating the aliens. What exactly are these?
Edge of Tomorrow? What are you talking about?
How is he not investigating?
What's the
New clues? He's learning every day about these aliens.
Oh, so a Dead Poet Society is an investigation movie? They're learning about themselves?
Oh, we're talking about sci-fi.
Your parameters are getting way too wide, man.
I'm talking. Everyone's investigating something in those movies.
Everyone's investigating something. Always.
That's what I'm saying. Contact is an investigation movie, investigating about life out there.
Okay, I'm glad.
What is this code?
Okay, you know what? You're probably right. It's best to keep sci-fi out of it, except for Minority Reporter, of course.
Because it's like Minority Report is it's a throwback to film noir.
It is. It's like a 1940s
Yes,
movie. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. Play it.
This list would have been 150 deep if we did sci-fi.
It would have been 80.
No. I was just scratching the surface. I didn't even look. I didn't even scour the internet for that.
Yeah, but your parameters became too wide. What's next? Is Jaws an investigation movie? They're going to find the shark?
I mean, yeah, they're investigating what happens in the killings. They're investigating which kind of shark did this.
You're going too far, man.
They don't investigate in that movie?
No, I'm not saying they don't investigate, but it's not an investigation movie.
I know, that's why I didn't put it on the list. Do you see Jaws on the list?
But Blade Runner, you could argue, is an investigation movie.
I don't think you can argue it. I think it is.
Yeah. But it's much more of an investigation movie than Jaws.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's move on. Number 6. Not a sci-fi movie. No Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men is
Now,
one.
you debated me on this.
I did debate you.
You debated me on this.
But I've accepted that you're right. It's there's two investigations going on.
Yes.
Anton Chigurh is investigating what happened to his money. He's trying to find.
It's not his money.
Huh?
It's not his money.
It's gotta be his.
Who took my money? No, he's been hired.
Yeah, no, he's been hired, but I mean, he's gotta keep it. He's gotta keep it. Tommy Lee Jones plays a sheriff who's trying to find out what happened to Llewellyn and also what happened to the murders. And yeah, so there is investigation in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot. So it absolutely counts.
It's a masterpiece, an all-time movie, the Coen Brothers' best film, and we love it.
Love. Yeah, it's their best film.
Yeah.
Top 5, baby. Top 5. We got Rear Window. This is just one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hitchcock,
Best cameraman movie.
Best binocular. Best bird
movie.
Best bird watcher
Best
movie.
person in a cast movie.
Best wheelchair movie. Hands down.
Hands down.
It's not even close.
Best apartment complex movie.
Rear Window, we all know Rear Window. It's the best. It's great.
It's great. Next up, 7.
Yes.
Number 4 on our list. We just saw it in IMAX 30th anniversary re-release. Saw it for the 27th time probably.
Maybe more than that, honestly. We've
Never seen it in theaters, though.
Nope.
Never seen it on the big screen.
Looked good, man.
And you notice things that you never noticed before. And it's David Fincher. It's Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. Kevin Spacey. It's such a remarkable movie. It's one of the best movies flat out ever made in American history.
You know what I noticed seeing on the big screen? There were a couple of things, but like we've always talked about this, and even in our episode we talked about how the whole set's busy in this movie. Like there's people everywhere.
Yeah.
And you on the big screen, I really saw it. Like the background actors, everyone's doing stuff.
Yeah.
And they're even bumping into your leads and interacting with the leads. And this movie, he does such a great job of the background's always something's always happening. And also the sound design, I heard it
Incredible.
better, and I heard things I never noticed before, and I was like, it's really brilliant, the sound design. It made me realize like the city is always making noise. It's always making a lot of noise.
Sound design in Seven, I always knew it was good, and we talked about it in our episode. But hearing it in a theater, in an IMAX theater, holy crap! It was all over the place.
Yes.
It felt like you were in the city, especially when the movie ended, cuts to black. And you hear the helicopter go left to right channel.
Yeah.
I never really experienced that before.
And
that
also,
was so cool.
And the rain is so loud, and he oftentimes the rain's super loud, like so loud you can barely hear the actors because he wants the city to be overwhelming. And then it cuts to next scene, it's quiet. It's incredible sound design that on a level I never noticed before without seeing it on this scale.
Seven's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's an absolutely perfect movie.
Also, a perfect movie is The Silence of the Lambs from Jonathan Demme. One of the greatest films ever made. Some of the greatest acting ever put on screen from Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins. This is one of my most watched movies. Just like you, we've both seen this so many times because it's that good. It's that rewatchable. It's rewarding to revisit this movie over and over again. To learn about filmmaking, you have to watch great movies like this, and what Jonathan Demme did in his career was really extraordinary, and this was his greatest accomplishment.
Let's talk about High and Low from Akira Kurosawa. The best kidnapping movie ever made, which is getting remade by Spike Lee right now. It's filming, starring Denzel Washington. High and Low follows a wealthy industrialist and shoemaker.
Women's shoes!
Women's shoes, literally. Whose family becomes the target of a kidnapper. However, the kidnapper, thinking that he's stealing the son of the wealthy industrialist, accidentally kidnaps the wrong son, takes his chauffeur caretaker's son instead by accident, and basically the wealthy man is sort of on the dime and has a moral qualm of whether or not to help fund and help finance finding this kid and helping support them through this tough journey.
And paying the ransom money.
Paying ransom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the ransom money, that's right. As well as following the detectives who are trying to figure out who stole the kid. Awesome movie.
Yeah, and it's like the whole fucking police department's on the case. It's great. The club scene, so good.
Every scene's so good.
It's great. And at number 1, we're at the greatest film in the investigation genre of all time. You might know what we're talking about because we haven't said a very obvious film in this genre, and that is Chinatown from Roman Polanski, starring Jack Nicholson. This is the epitome of the investigation genre.
Epitome.
It's the epitome, as like James likes to say. J.J. Gittes is a great character and phenomenal acting from everybody in this film. Great ensemble. An excellent L.A. movie based on true events. I love the corruption, the idea of water. It's so vital to life, and having control over it from an entire city is a really great place where the story's conflict comes from. But everything about this, the directing decisions are all just like it's the best shot possible every time. Every time you see a shot, it's the best decision possible. Everything that happens in this movie, and it's flat out pitch perfect, beat for beat from start to finish. There's very few films that have this much power every second of film that you watch, and it really is a landmark piece of cinema and one of the greatest of all time, and stands the test of time.
What a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I fucking love Chinatown.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we did an episode on it last year.
It was a good episode.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a really good episode.
This is a movie I would love to see in theaters at some point.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
So it was 75, so maybe it's this year. Let me double check Chinatown.
Chinatown, I think 76.
74.
Oh yeah, 74.
So it would have been last year if there was a 50th anniversary. I don't remember seeing anything about that, a 50th anniversary for
neither.
it. Why didn't they?
I don't know.
Maybe because it's Polanski?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's possible.
Studios are probably too afraid of it.
Yeah, maybe, I guess.
I mean, they made a Rosemary's Baby TV show, though.
Yeah. I don't know.
And a remake
I don't
movie.
remember seeing anything about a 50th anniversary. Maybe I did. Maybe we missed it. But I mean,
Chinatown's
Would've been
remarkable at the end of the day. And Jack Jack was the guy.
Yeah.
He had the juice, the charm,
Yeah.
the confidence, the swagger. He was the fucking cool. He might be the coolest actor that ever graced screens. He's that fucking guy. And like Ed, they said, you're right. Every decision in this movie was the right one. Every shot's perfect. The screenplay is stellar, sensational. Chinatown, man. Love it so much.
Great stuff.
All right, well,
That's it.
that wraps our investigation movies.
Great list.
The best of all time. That was a lot of fun. We talked about a lot of really fucking good movies. It's one of the better lists we've ever done. I
Great
think,
genre.
in terms of hits, man. These are all good movies. 1 to 64.
Fucking A, man.
So many great filmmakers.
We
on here
could
as
not
well.
narrow it down to 50. Impossible.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be too hard. But thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of Raiders of the Lost Podcast. If you want to support us, you know the best way to do it is going to patreon.com, signing up to become a patron. Patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. All kinds of different perks, different tiers, get you different kinds of perks. See what's in your budget for as little as $10 a year for an annual sign-up. That's all you have to do to be a member. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple. Subscribe on the YouTube channel because we're almost at 50K.
Damn, that's awesome.
We're killing it. And take care.
See you next time.